Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager here at McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news update and information with a video on for your scheduling information for this nice Tuesday here. And we're going to go over all the scheduling information for you for this week, the week for scheduling for Thursday, January 23rd. Happens to be my birthday, actually, but not like most of you care. But anyway, I do want to cover what's scheduling for this week. And again, this information is what's happening for this week. And I'm kind of want to reiterate that because there's some people that are asking me why their order hasn't been scheduled yet. I can only talk about what's going on for this week and what these notes have for us for this particular week. A lot of the models are scheduling this week. In fact, it looks like almost they all are scheduling this week. So this is going to be a good week for a lot of people. And hopefully a lot of people get that must awaited email that says that their order's been scheduled. So I do want to go through some notes. So before you kick up forward to the timestamp for your particular model, please listen and watch this next part when I go over terminology, because there are a lot of people that are asking me why they haven't been scheduled. And a lot of it has to do with allocations. So I want to go through this real quick and go through that. So, all right. So order bank, that is where that order was placed. So your dealer, when they place an order for you, that was put into their order bank. And they're put in either a stock or retail order. So your order as a customer was a retail order type. That's a customer placed order. But dealers can put in stock orders. So sometimes when you see that when we talk main commitment and all that for scheduling, which sometimes that'll happen for this week. That is when they're going to schedule retails first, as long as you have a retail order. But if you don't have a retail order, then they'll look to fulfill that allocation with a stock order. And then party codes, that's a party given by the dealer for the orders. Retails can be put in as anything from an 03 to 19 as a retail order type. 19 is the default. So if you see a 19 on your order, don't be alarmed by that. It's just that's the default for the system. And then 20 to 80 for stock orders. And again, 80 is a default there when Ford puts in those orders. The lower the better, which is why a retail order is always looked at before a stock order for scheduling. Scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. So we're talking about what's scheduling for this week, but it doesn't get built this week. It's going to be scheduled for build dates in March for most all these. Some of these dates may be some in February, but mostly in March for this week. And then production dates, that is when Ford plans to build your vehicle. Now, I will tell you, production dates can move around. So there can be some issues. Maybe there were some issues this week, and so they had to move everybody's orders back. And so that might affect your order in the future. So just keep in mind that the first gets scheduled for a certain week, but it doesn't mean it's going to necessarily get built that week. Sometimes they get pushed back for whatever reason. Allocations, Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. Now, keep in mind, a dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank. So if your dealer doesn't have allocations for a particular model, your order won't get scheduled. So it really can come down and be that simple. It could be the reason that your order hasn't been scheduled is because the dealer's not receiving enough allocations to fulfill all their unscheduled orders for that particular model. The dealer earns those allocations based on their sales volume within their state. Need to update that. Constraints, that is an option that may be in short supply or take longer to build. And capacity, that's the planned production rate for given motor trim and option, which is another thing that could stop and take a little longer for your order to be scheduled. Is if you order something that's in high demand but low capacity, then that could cause that issue of taking a little bit longer to get scheduled. Job 1, 2, there's even a job 3 this year on a couple models. So that is production is separated into different job runs. Job 1 is the start up of the model for each model year. Job 2 is where they might introduce something new, a different trim, maybe even a different package that might be available for job 2. And then we do have balance out. That's the end of production or balance out of a particular trim, model, even job. So we would say balance out of job 1, start up for job 2, that kind of stuff. That's where you see those phrases. So hopefully that makes sense because, and like I said, many situations, the reason maybe your order hasn't been scheduled has nothing to do with what your configuration is or that there's anything wrong with your order. It could just be the simple fact that your dealer doesn't have enough allocations for the unscheduled orders they have in their system, right? So like for us, we have 50 Super Duty allocations this month. Well, if we had 51 orders, there's one person that's not going to get scheduled this month, right? So that's kind of how that works. So, and also the configuration. So if we have a bunch of the same ones and they can only do like 2%, is their capacity on that certain particular one, but I have higher number than that, then that won't get them all scheduled. So, all right, let's run through this. The 25 model year Mustang is first. They are scheduled this week. Main commitment, which means they'll look at retails first, but then if there's no retails in their system, then they'll look for a stock allocation. Or if their retails in there doesn't fit what they're needing to schedule as well. They are scheduled for the weeks in March. And then Dark Horse handling package won't be available until April of 2025. So there's a situation, like as I'm mentioning, that if there's a Dark Horse allocation the dealer has, but the only order you have in there is a handling package, then they'll try to fulfill that with a different somebody else's order, right? The Mustang Night Pony package with the black painted roof is available only for retail scheduling. For stock, though, if you order the black color, you can get it as a stock. So for those dealers that are wanting that, that is an option as well. Very limited to exhaust availability for the 18 by 8 inch machine face aluminum wheel with a high gloss ebony painted pockets. That's wheel option 64F. And then also wheel option 641, the 19 by 8.5 inch ebony black painted aluminum wheel is very limited to exhausted as well. So anyway, so there you go. And I forgot to mention, there's only 937 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. All right, next up is the 25 model year Escape. Currently 179 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Escape as well as for the Mustang. I didn't mention that. This week, they are scheduling for March production dates, main commitment. So they are going to look for retails first. But if a dealer doesn't have retails and they have allocations, they'll look for stock to fulfill that with. No information on any constraints or anything there. All right, next up, 25 model year Bronco Sport. There's only 122 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up right now for all different configurations, and they are scheduling for March production dates. And this is the main commitment. So again, just like with the others, if you didn't watch those, they're going to look for retails first, and then if there's no retail orders by the dealer and they have an allocation, then they're going to be looking for stock. The reason, if you're watching this clear through, I'm saying that is because some people do only watch their model section. So I'm going to be repeating that probably on each one and see if that helps with less comments and such that you guys have questions about. So required orders. So basically, they're needing some Big Ben orders with the Black Diamond Off-Road package. I did a video on a Built Wild Wednesday a couple of weeks ago. Check that out, episode 2, where we talked about the Black Diamond Off-Road package. It is a real deal package this year, not just a skid plate and a different wheel. It is a really cool package for this year, and we actually have a bunch in stock right now. You should check them out. Very limited to exhaust availability for wheel option 64T. That's a 17-inch carbonized gray high gloss wheel that's standard on the Big Ben. Which is another reason they kind of need some of those Black Diamond Off-Road packages or the Black Appearance package. Also, T7G tire. That's the 225/65 R17 all-season tire. That's also standard on the Big Ben. So a standard Big Ben will probably be difficult for somebody to get scheduled for. So if you are someone out there, the dealer has an allocation, you have an unscheduled order, and it's for a Big Ben, that might be another reason why you don't get scheduled if they're struggling to be able to get those the parts and everything for that. So thinking about doing the Black Appearance package on it or the Black Diamond Off-Road package, you could do that. But if you don't want those, you're just going to have to wait a little longer. So, all right, 25 model year Bronco. Currently 668 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for all trim levels. They are scheduling for those March production dates. Main commitment, which means they're going to be trying to schedule retails first and then stock as long as the dealer has an allocation. Allocation is needed, right? And then to be able to fulfill your order. Required orders, they are needing some Outer Banks orders with the 2.3 liter engine and the molded in hard top or the soft top. So we're seeing that now coming. Everybody's wanting that black painted hard top, right? Very limited to exhaust availability for E8B configuration with the 43U. That is the Outer Banks with the hard top painted. That's the body color painted, I believe. Also, very unlimited to exhausted for the Sasquatch package. First seeing that for this model year, but those that have a Sasquatch package might take a little longer. Again, with this situation like this, dealer needs an allocation first off. Then if you have an unscheduled order in there, then it can be looked at for that configuration. But if you have a Sasquatch, there may be a possibility that it doesn't get used by that allocation, but they use a stock one instead because as it says here, very limited exhaust availability for the Sasquatch package, right? So just keep that in mind when you're looking at those orders. If you don't get scheduled, that can be why. And if you want Sasquatch, by all means, leave it on there. Just know that it might not get scheduled this month, but may have to wait till next month to get it scheduled. 25 model year Mach-E. Currently only 44 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25. A lot of people didn't realize they were open up, so they are open up. They are scheduling for those March production dates. Main commitment, again, they're looking at retail orders first and then stock. If they don't have any retail orders, but they have allocations, then they'll look for those stocks. And I know I'm repeating this, but hopefully you guys understand why. And then it does say in here, select extended range all-wheel drive is available only for retail scheduling. So if a dealer has that in there, that won't get scheduled. So just keep that in mind as dealers there, making sure you put those in correctly. All right, next up is the 25 model year Explorer. There's currently 476 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Explorer. They are scheduling this week for those March production dates. Main commitment, which again, as I said in all the other ones, they're going to be looking for retail orders first, and then if they don't, then they'll look to fulfill those with those stock orders. And again, a dealer needs an allocation to schedule those orders. Orders with the security code, keyless entry keypad, or the black painted roof won't be selected for March production dates. So if you have the keypad, that would be why yours probably isn't scheduling. Also the black painted roof. So those aren't going to schedule for March production dates. So if you have, again, somebody will probably comment down below that I have that. That's why. So you're going to have to wait until next month or take those off your order, one or the other. Very limited to exhaust availability for the 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine. Also the 64Z, the 21-inch dark aluminum wheel. So that is the one that's on the ultimate package for the Platinum. And then the ST line version as well is very limited exhausted. Exhaust availability is on the black painted roof and the keypad, which we talked about earlier, that aren't going to get scheduled until next month. So I think last week they said they were starting to schedule for those. Well, what they did is they scheduled all of them that they could for those March production dates. So now this week, that's already been planned out. That's why now they weren't scheduling for March production dates, if that makes sense. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. They filled their funnel in a sense for those. And so for that reason, the rest of this month, they can't schedule any more. They're capped on the parts that they have for those. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, next up, 25 model year Expedition, currently 1,687 unscheduled retail orders in order bank. The order banks are open up this month or right now, and they are scheduling this month or this week as well for March production dates. Main commitment, which means retail first, then they're going to look at stock. If the dealer has allocations and they don't have retail orders, they'll go and look for stock. Very limited to exhaust availability for the King Ranch series, the active 4x4 version, the space white interior or space gray interior, sorry, for the active version, and the stealth appearance package. So those are very exhausted. So if you have one of those configurations, just know that it may not get scheduled this month, even if your dealer has an allocation, because they are very limited on how many of those they can still schedule for production dates. So there will be some people that are scheduled, but then there will be people that don't get scheduled because of that limited exhaust availability for those features. All right. Next up, 25 model year Maverick, currently 1,604 unscheduled retail orders in order bank. The order banks are open up, and they are scheduled this week for those March production dates. Main commitment, again, they're going to look at retail orders first, and then look at stock to fulfill their allocation. So a dealer needs an allocation. They'll look to schedule retail if they can. If the configuration isn't what they can schedule based on these limited exhausted items, then they'll look for us to fulfill that allocation with the stock. So their goal is every month to be able to fulfill your allocations each week, I should say each week, to fulfill those allocations that week. And so they can plan on their production for the month. All right. Very limited to exhausted availability for the trimmer version. Also for the hybrid motor as well. All-wheel drive as well. And the 6-way power driver seat. That would be your XLT Lux package, right? As well. And then maybe even any lariats. So what we'd be looking at here, since most of those are limited exhausted, if you have a dealer has an allocation out there that needs to be fulfilled and they have an order, they're probably going to be looking for like an XL, XLT, front wheel drive. Front wheel drive. It says all wheel drive. So maybe a front wheel drive hybrid or maybe an all-wheel drive Eco. Might be two things, because it does say in here all-wheel drive as well as 2.5 is very limited to exhausted, but not completely cut off, right? So not capped completely. So for that reason, we could see some front-wheel drive hybrids. Also could possibly see some all-wheel drive Ecos. So just keep that in mind right there. But there you go. Again, they're probably fulfilled most of the orders. Like for us, they fulfilled almost all of our allocations last week. So most dealers are probably in that same boat. All right, next up, 25 model year Ranger. There's currently 371 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Ranger. They are scheduled this week for those production dates in March. It does say main commitment, and it does say in here previewing full, because I didn't think they were going to schedule a Ranger this month. So if you have a Ranger order, there might be a great likeliness that it will not get scheduled this month. Because I thought all they were scheduled for was Raptor this month, but I could be wrong. We didn't get any allocations, so that's what makes me think they're not scheduled for Ranger this month. All right, next up, 25 model year Super Duty. There's 6,406 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Super Duty. The order banks are open up, and this week they are scheduled at Kentucky Truck Plant for the weeks of February 24th through the weeks of March 10th, and for the Ohio Assembly Plant for the weeks of February 24th through the weeks of March 17th. They are needing some orders, some F250 and 350 XLT or XLT in Platinum base, so not Platinum Plus, or Lariat, it says, with the 6.7 liter turbo diesel. So not the high output, but the regular turbo diesel, and without the gooseneck, the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. So they're needing some orders without it. Everybody's putting that on their order, makes sense, but they're needing some without that on there. So very limited exhaust availability for the spray-in bed liner. So please leave that off your orders, as well as wheel option 646, the 20-inch machine in ebony black painted high gloss premium painted aluminum wheel. That's the one that's in the black appearance package. So there's that. Next up is the 25 model year F-150. Currently 2,554 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are scheduling, or the order banks are open up, and they are scheduling for this week. It does say cleanup scheduling, because they're scheduling for different dates than most of the others. They are scheduled for production dates the weeks of February 17th through March 17th. So this is a job one cutoff. So they are trying to finish out job one here. So they are needing some Raptor orders without those tonneau covers. So if you have a like that, there's a case where a dealer might have an allocation, and the only orders they have in there is for tonneau covers for those. Well, they may not get scheduled. So taking those tonneau covers off of your orders, and also taking off the twin panel moonroof. That is those two things. It does say Raptor orders 802A and 803A without the tonneau and without the twin panel moonroof. So your 801s should be okay with some of those things on there. Limited availability for the 3.5 hybrid engine. So there you go. All right. And don't forget, again, dealers have allocations on that. They're going to be looking for the stock orders first, and then looking to after that, or looking for the retail orders, and then after that, go for the stock orders, again, within the configurations that they have. So dealer needs an allocation to schedule your order. All right. Next up is the 25 model year Transit. There's currently 1,083 unscheduled retail orders in order bank. The order banks are open up. They are scheduled this week for those production dates, the week of February 10th through the week of March 17th. And again, they're going to be looking for scheduled retails first, and then go into stock as long as the dealer has an allocation and they have unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, right? And then otherwise, they'll go look for stock if they have an allocation available. I've said that a lot, but I want to make sure if you skip around and watch the different videos, you're getting all the right information. Required orders, the low and medium roof van and the high roof extended van with the 3.5 V6 Cyclone engine is what it's saying here. That's engine 998 and two-wheel drive, or your rear-wheel drive, right? And then very limited exhaust availability for the low roof passenger van as well. So there you go. All right, so that's all that information. Hopefully that made some sense to you on that. And I wanted to clarify some things because we got a lot of comments last week's video on certain things that people are saying, hey, why isn't mine? I ordered a long time ago. Why hasn't it scheduled? And there's a lot of different things and scenarios for why you couldn't have scheduled. And the biggest thing is your dealer needs an allocation. So allocation is the number one thing that needs to happen to get your order scheduled. Dealer needs an allocation, and then they can look at getting your order scheduled. And then it's configuration on top of that. So allocation is number one. What's the configuration of your order? Is it something that's on the constraint list? Is it something that, is hard to get scheduled because maybe it's a Super Duty with a spray and bed liner? That could cause it to not get scheduled. Some things like that, right? And so those are the big things of why your order might not have gotten scheduled. And it could be something like on the Explorer where they're not going to be scheduling anymore with the keypad entry that's been put on it, right? And so because of that, then your order might not get scheduled this month. So hopefully this makes some sense to you. Drop any questions you have down below in the comments. I love answering those. If you have questions you want to answer tonight, if you're watching this the night it gets released, on our live stream, we'll do scheduling Q&A. So we will answer questions live. So if you want to do that, I can answer those questions here in just a little short bit on our live stream as well. Otherwise, drop it down below and I'll try to answer that as quick as I can. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget, make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of our videos. And until the next video, stay positive, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and we'll see you later.